Richard back at you. Today we got a gentleman that come in all the way from Kansas to have his training rebuilt. You remember Dorothy was from Kansas, and you remember there's no place like home. So anyway, but we're going to tear this down. It doesn't want to move forward. He barely made it here with it. So it's going to be a pretty exciting train to tear down. So let's get it tore down. We got your standard TMBX torque converter. This is how you identify these things. They make multiple numbers right here for different stalls, clutch type in the converter and stuff like that. We're fixing to cut one of these converters apart and do a video on one on this type, and we're going to do a multi-clutch Dodge 48RE converter we're going to cut apart and let you guys look at it too, so that way everybody sees what these things look like.
Pretty cool.
Fluid's pretty dark. I mean, it still has a little bit of red tint to it. I'm not sure how many miles this thing had on it, but
I'm not sure.
It's a 2000 model GMC step-side pickup. But like I say, he barely made it here. When I pulled it in, it was shuddering, chattering, all kinds of on the forward clutch.
Oh, I can smell the fluid now.
Can you smell it now?
Yep.
Give him a 15 real quick. And we're getting a lot of people coming in from long ways away to get their trannies built. But here they're getting what they're paid for. We do all the modifications that we can do to make them work better. I feel like that coffee. I drank too much coffee this morning at IHOP. I'm telling you, like the fourth glass I should have left on the second one.
That new machine's working good.
Yeah, they got a new machine at IHOP, and let me tell you, it's working.
You know, it's funny, we just got one, or just sent one back to Kansas, and then we get one from Kansas.
Yeah.
That little black truck was from Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Makes it look like I'm struggling, but I'm really not. Just your standard servo here. This one won't be getting any Corvette servo or anything like that. It'll still be getting the Z-Pack and the wide bands and the hardened shell, the roller forward clutch hub, all the modifications that we can do. I think we're going to go from a 1395 to an 1895 stall converter just to give him a little bit of pep.
That one was tight.
Yep, you heard that bounce. That's why you want to make sure you got that socket all the way to the bottom. Look at it. If you ever strip one. What's crazy, this one seems to always be a dry bolt. I don't know why. That's probably the most one I chisel out.
And you can see it's dry.
Mm-hmm. Just a real.
Mm-hmm.
See how it's dry?
Yeah, all the others.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
This is actually a pretty nice truck. Real clean. On the inside, outside. I just don't remember how many miles it had on it. Not a lot of trash in the pan for slipping as bad as it is. But he could have serviced it before he brought it here too. I didn't pay attention to the gasket, but oh, there it is right there. Yeah, it's got an aftermarket rubber gasket on it, so he probably serviced it to make it here, and he made it. Thank God. Parking stuff off here.
Just reminds me of NASCAR every time it's like taking the wheel off.
Yeah. Somebody was saying they had a quiet impact. I can't remember. I've seen somebody saying something about it. Can't remember the name of it or anything like that.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, this is your PWM solenoid here. You got your 3-2 downshift solenoid there. Got your pillow switch. Tells the computer if it's made its transaction to each gear. Your main lockup solenoid here. And when you clean this stuff up, if you ain't got no fluid in the connector, everything looks good there. Shake this when you clean it, make sure it shakes really good. You can test it with a voltmeter and actually hook 12 volts to it and make it work. We have a little tool that we use to actually, Trent, we should go get that next time. Yeah, I got a tester that I'll show you that we hook up. You see, this is a little bit later version. You can take this off, clean it out if you don't have no codes or anything like that, and then clip this back on. The real early designs didn't have any cover and had issues with trash getting in there and shorting them out. I don't know why. You can see these pillow switches just full of trash, and they just collect it in every one of them. It's kind of weird how they do it, but they do. So every time we take one apart, it's just really nasty through that area. But these trannies work pretty nasty. It's crazy. When you get the valve bodies off and you look at this stuff, you know, how much dirt can actually be down in there, especially when I go to clean it. It just really shows up then. Of course, we don't have no modifications to the lockup valve or anything like that. Here's your first accumulator, intermediate accumulator valve right here before it kicks into your secondary. Got your shift solenoids. Got your forward accumulator here, your forward engagement valve. Got a plastic piston. Always go find your aluminum one. This one here's really wore out. That pin hole just wobbles like crazy. You can have a new seal. If it's wore out here, you might as well just leave the seal off because basically it's the same thing. Thought that was cracked for a second, but it wobbles really bad. Pretty much wore out. Throw it over there. Of course, we have all our check balls here.
That one's almost beat through.
Yeah. Get this here. I'll keep all these. Now this check ball here, I'm going to try to grab it and see if it is beat all the way through. A lot of them get stuck in there. It's not stuck in there yet. If it sticks, it always burns the 3/4 clutch up every time if it sticks because it needs that big hit to get the clutch going. And then they use the small hole to pressure up on the clutch pack. So it still has to have that.
Getting close.
Yeah, just about. We'll put a neoprene ball in there and plate and stuff to straighten this out. We have a little fix we can do to this plate even. Of course, we got the good old plastic. I wish GM would get away from plastic. I don't know why they don't. It can't cost any more to make this plastic piston than it does to making a good aluminum one. Always look in here for scratches where this piston's been rubbing and stuff like that. If you put a new seal on a wore out surface in here, you're just defeating your purpose. You have to go find you another one. So, and this here is our new piston we're going to be putting in there. You notice the support's a lot longer.
Turn sideways? No,
sorry.
See it. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Keeps that piston from rocking. Seals it a lot better. See? Also, it'll shorten the stroke because it'll bottom out down here sooner than this one here. This one actually will touch here. So, it's the only way to go. Plate over here. parking stuff here. Got to turn the shaft, lock that in like that. That way you can get in there with that bolt. Same way to put it back in, so it's easy to cross thread that bolt if you don't lock that into park. Got your 4th gear accumulator. Of course, you know, in all my videos we stack double pistons in there and just stop that thing from moving altogether. Always look for fluid in here. If you have fluid in there, chunk it. Chunk it. I don't know how many miles. I wish I looked at the odometer.
It's a really fun truck.
Yeah, it is really. We got our thrush washer. Here. I bet there won't be no silicone around the vent circuit.
Probably not.
Probably not. I don't know how GM gets them to seal, but their first time out, it holds and works. But if you ever mess with it, move it around, you can have issues with it leaking across that circuit into your vent. So you can see here's that circuit I'm talking about right here, and this is your vent circuit. And that's why we always put a fine coat of silicone right here, just to make sure we don't have any access there. You can also see this converter was just barely catching the pump gear. That thing could have been shimmed back 1/8 of an inch or farther. It's just barely catching it. Now that's factory too. So that tells you it could have been shimmed from the factory even, because this thing hadn't been far, it don't look like it.
Wow.
Yeah. So. We always space our converters as deep as we can get them into the tranny, and then pull them out and then space them correctly. Actually, a lot of times we'll take and glue a washer right here with some yellow glue, and then put the tranny in. That way we already know we have our clearance set right. So that's an easy way to do that. It's hard to put the washer on, so we just glue them to the converter. If we get it in, it's excessive, we'll pull it right back out, no matter what. So that's the first thing we do when we put our tranny up to the motor. We check converter clearance and stuff like that. So if we see it, we pull it out and glue the washer on there, whatever it takes. Because anytime you get a rebuilt converter, we see it all the time. The depth can be changed on everything. Excuse me. The reverse clutch looked pretty good. So. Got your big hole drum. I just want to look across that drum. Staining like this, it looks like there's something there, but there's physically nothing there. It's just a stain. But you come in here and look, that drum's perfectly flat. Huh? No, see, that drum's no good. You see that? That bow in the middle? That drum is no good. Now believe me, there's people out there put that drum in with no problem. But believe me, that drum's not going in this tranny.
Yep.
So we have your stock band, which we'll put the wide band in there. You know, like I said, we're not making this no race truck or anything, but we always put the Z-Pack wide bands. We upgrade this unit all the way. Whether it's your grandmother's car, stock truck, it always gets your high dollar parts that we put in these things. You get what you pay for here. So, and I'm going to be building it. There ain't going to be nobody else except Trent.
Yay.
Got your standard 6 clutch and your 3/4 pack. You know, GM, it works, you know, but it's just limited, you know, and GM knows it, but it's still going right along. .4L60 is stronger than you think. It really is, especially if you put them together right. Now here's where we were having it. It was slipping going forward, so I'm curious to see what this looks like here. So, oh,
Yep.
that's why it's slipping. Okay, this tranny's never been apart, but if you notice, there's no teeth on the clutch no more on the inner. Now, once that happens, it loses that clutch. Boom, gone. It's still in there, but it ain't working. So let's go to the next one. So this happened too. We lost our teeth on our clutch. Now, we soak all of our clutches and stuff, so let me grab a new one. I've already been soaking these for a couple hours. Okay.
Wow.
Now, what happens is, though, you remember this thing was slipping. It was moving forward. How can it move forward? It had no teeth. So that one wasn't working. We're going to come over here. Uh-oh, we found one with some teeth.
Hey.
Now, believe it or not, this one clutch was trying to move that vehicle forward just on these teeth, because I noticed the rest of the clutches have no teeth neither. So basically, it was moving forward on this one clutch.
Wow. He barely made it.
Yeah. Now you keep going. No teeth again. Now, the reason why it didn't ever blow the seal is because the clutch lining is still on the clutch. So it didn't push the piston out far enough to blow the seal in the drum or anything like that. So what this thing does, it looks like to me, they do a lot of backing up and throwing this thing in gear, or it's got a high idle. Something's going on for that to look like that.
Dang, I don't think I've ever seen them that bad before.
Not
The
just
teeth
cut
stripped
away.
off, yeah.
Just cut away smooth.
Mm-hmm.
See? Because that clutch physically would lock into your forward sprag. See around here. Let's go to that one.
See what we had left.
There it is.
Oh my, that's crazy.
That's what was moving the vehicle forward, just that one clutch. That's why it moved in. It was shaking and shuddering and all kinds of stuff. Because this little baby was just barely hanging on. Brother and sister already give up.
Yep. Wow.
So, but that's pretty crazy looking
That's
there.
cool.
But we'll get this in and we'll try to figure out what is going on and what caused that. See if the motor's running terrible, stuff like that. It had O2 sensor codes. The two rear O2 sensors were bad. So we'll check into that too. This hub looks here really nice. There's no wear here. Now this is probably one of the first GM brass sprags that come in that wasn't wore out, or is it locked to the deal? Oh, it's seized up.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Just need a little love tap.
Just a little love tap.
This is still moving. The race looks really nice. Got a little bit of brass buildup right here. No, I mean, we can take that off with some Scotch-Brite, but this race looks really nice. Probably just some forward clutch material got in here in between here. That's why it was a little bit tight. So, looks really good. It's still got the
Scratch marks.
from the factory, yeah.
Wow.
So, always check this bearing for any noise or any roughness, because this thing will make noise in park and neutral. And you'll think it's a pump whining. Take your band anchor out real quick.
What?
Hey.
Come on. Today's your lucky day.
It's Thursday.
It's your day.
Now it just has your standard flat washer style input hub here, so standard 4-pinion planet. Now we will be updating it to the roller bearing style. We got a new hub in the box over there. We'll put a new bearing on it and stuff and get rid of this. We do that to every one we do.
Trash.
Anytime we get the parts, so I mean, because parts are getting slim to get right now, and I'm buying up everything I can buy, so. Literally.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there right now.
Yes. And it's everywhere. We can't get parts for a lot of stuff now. My parts guys just Got your lower sun gear. Check on both sides of these, make sure there's no pitting, because that's where you'll find it on both sides. So. Got your rear planetary. Got your anti-clunk springs. The last thing I pull out. And then look at the lower reverse clutches. Not burned up yet.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. Got your lower sprag assembly. Race looks really good. Always replace that. If you have to replace the whole unit, make sure you look for that lip right there and make sure it's the same depth. Look at your planet. See that there? It's wore out. See that gear wobbling?
Mm-hmm.
No way, no. That one's tight.
Mm-hmm.
Tight. Tight. Wobble.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll put a new planetary system in it. Got our case bushing right here. Do that. Got our nice little piston tool right here. Look for the snap ring down there. You can see that. Can you see that snap ring with the opening is down on top right?
Yep.
Let's turn it just a little bit that way. Compress it. Now what I got to do is take my snap ring pliers. Since I can't get to it, I'll kind of hook it and I'll slide it and turn it. I don't know if you guys can see that. See, I'll just turn that to the openings on this side now. Kind of hard for me to see it. Trying to let the camera be in my face.
I know, you're good. Go for it.
There
Hope you got it.
Okay. Snap rings down in there, you can just take and release both of them at the same time. Now if you notice that kind of hung, it's still kind of compressed a little bit. You can just kind of take a hammer, kind of tap it, get it to release.
That one won't kill you if it pops out.
Nah, I wouldn't stick your face down in there,
No,
nothing,
I
but
wouldn't do that.
blow in here, get that piston out. Have our bushing. We have our 3 seals that we always replace. It's always a must if you don't use this tool to get them out. I don't know how everybody's doing. I guess they're buying tools off the internet, I think, now. So, pretty cool. All the way from Kansas. So, we're really excited. We'll get this thing straightened out for him, get him back on the road, get him back home safe. If y'all need anything, give us a holler. Precision Transmissions. Y'all have a great day.